I've been living in Castleton itself for like 12, 13 years, and I've been field running the whole time since I've been doing that. A friend introduced me to it, took me for a run one day, and that was it. Haven't stopped since. The only place I run is around here. I don't really go anywhere else to run. I think I've done a half marathon once somewhere else, but I only run around here. The Red Bull Steeplechase, it's a 21-mile fell race through the glorious Peak District, but eliminating people at 4 different stages along the way. Yeah, living in Castleton's a bonus because I can just wake up, put my shoes on, pack my bag, out the door, and a nice little 5-minute jog up to the start line will warm me up, and I'm ready to go.
I was attracted to the race because it's something completely different that I've never done before. I've never done a fell race quite so long as this. My aim is to basically push it as hard as I can and maybe a top 5 finish.
To be honest, I'm not quite sure what to expect out of the race. And I'm still trying to kind of wrap my mind around the course. It's definitely the longest race that I will have ever done. Certainly the race with the most elevation gain and loss that I will have ever done. I think there are some races where you can really mathematically plan and strategize everything and try and prepare exactly what you're going to do coming up to the race. And then there's some races where you just fasten your seatbelt and strap it and see where it takes you. And I feel like this is going to be that.
The first year I ran it, I turned up thinking it was going to be like any other fell race. Literally, I walked up the road, turned up, registered, saw a few people that I know, saw loads of people I didn't recognise. And then we hit that first hill, and that was it. That nearly did me the first bit. The first stage always seems really tough. It was that first hill again, but I knew not to just bomb it up and use all my energy up, so I went quite steady and then tried to sprint, and I caught loads of people after that.
So first stage was definitely challenging. I knew that the ascent was going to be tough, and I think at that point I was probably 5th female, so I immediately knew that it was going to be a tough field.
As soon as I'd take a couple of people, it must have annoyed them, and then a minute later they're overtaking me. I just ended up in this battle all the way to the first checkpoint with people just constantly overtaking each other.
The second stage was pretty tough. There was quite a climb out of Bamford, sort of through some trees.
The second stage went by the quickest of all of them by far. I think that there was I think several styles to go over, which are always really challenging because you kind of stop and you lose your rhythm and you have to swing your legs over these fences. But once you kind of recover from that, you can get back into the rhythm.
I struggled a bit with the second stage just because my knee was starting to hurt a bit. So I started walking a bit when it was getting really steep, and then as soon as we got to the top, I just bombed it down again. I felt like I ran really well, but it was just tough. I ran faster, but I got to the second steeple, so yeah, I'm happy with the result.
The third stage from Hope to Edale I think was the most challenging because you go from doing a 4-mile stage to then a 6-mile stage, and it feels much longer than 6 miles, and you know that after the 6 miles you still have that last section to go. But the interesting part about the third stage was that the field from the men that I was running around, they sort of dropped off. So it's much more spread out. You feel much more sort of out in the wilderness.
I started feeling quite good at about 15 miles, and I think started to put a bit of distance between myself and the guy in second. And then towards the end, you just start getting that extra gear, and then when I knew it was, say, like 3 or 4 miles to go, just start to wind it up a bit, and then just work all the way to the finish. My first Bull Steeplechase was cracking. It was a fantastic event. The course was really, really good. It was tough. So many big climbs on it, especially the first one.
I did well. I came in second place, which I was very pleased with. The field was very competitive. There were some really strong women out there today, but I felt good. So this was a little bit different than other races that I've done, especially on the downhills, because it has nothing to do with endurance or willpower. It's just actual skill descending down the side of a cliff and finding your footing. So that was just insanely hard.
I'm really pleased to have won today. It was something that I was targeting for quite some time, so I'm really pleased to have come away with first place, and hopefully I'll certainly plan to come back in the future and try and do it again.